Stargate Finance Community Call, where we discuss proposals and ideas that will help shape and govern the Stargate protocol. Feel free to join the conversation on stage anytime you have a question by clicking the raise your hand button at the bottom of the screen. You can also chime in through the voice text channel in Discord or any of the chats for those listening in on YouTube and Twitch, as those channels all aggregate the messages together. Just a reminder, this is not financial, accounting, or legal advice. Please do your own research. All right. Hello, Stargate. We had lots going on here in the past couple of weeks. It was at DevCon last week. Layer Zero Labs team was there. And really, really great, incredible feedback and engagement from a lot of folks. Mindshare around bridging and whatnot, protocols interested in Stargate, and just kind of understanding and unlocking a lot more ideas around it. So, really great stuff. I don't know if anybody had a chance to see the Layer Zero swag looked pretty sick as well. So lots of people very, very pleased with it. But hoping to hear more and more. There's been some protocols that have reached out afterwards and doing some follow up. So hoping to see a little more mind share around Stargate as well. So,
and Tango, can I just say, I think Layer Zero swag was among, I guess, the most prized ones. Mm-hmm. From what I've seen, people were rocking it and proud of it. I was so happy to see it. I mean, we didn't have a secret AV truck or anything like this, but I do think the team now see the potential in DevCon, and next year we're going to have a booth. Next year we're going to have some experiences and so on. A lot of the devs actually coming by for Layer Zero was their first time at any of these crypto conferences. So I think they were all happy. They saw a lot of technical talks, and we're going to make sure we're even more present next year.
Yeah, wicked. So I don't know, Primo, anything to add there with DevCon, and any ideas that you'd see or anything that you'd seen, or comments there?
Oh, I mean, I think from my end, DevCon was pretty amazing. I think just the group of people and how skewed it was towards builders was pretty insane. I don't know, amazing group. I think the general interest was great. I think, like Maki said, it was pretty awesome to see everybody just rocking the swag in general. But on a broad scale, I think it's one of the best conferences I've ever been to. So that's saying something.
Yeah, agreed. It was. I've only been to a couple now since this, but that venue was incredible. Layout was great. Logistics was awesome with it. So.
For the people that were not there, just to give you kind of an idea of the proportion, there was 5 different floors with literally 5,000-6,000 people. They even had a basement, a hacker basement that was insane, and they turned basically a car parking into this massive venue with NFT art, beanbags, table to hack, and so on. The only issue, I think, and everyone can agree, was the connectivity maybe in Bogota was not super good.
Internet.
Internet was bad, but to be honest, definitely one for the archives, one for the Hall of Fame and so on. Primo, what was your favorite part yourself about Bogota per se?
Yeah, I was kind of joking with people earlier and saying, it's the first conference I've been to where I don't think I spoke to a single VC, right? All builders. I think the collection of people was by far the best part of it. I think food in Colombia was amazing. I think the foundation did an insane job with the venue and just with selecting sort of how tickets are allocated or who's going and who's speaking. I think I think more than anything, right? Normally when I go to these things, it's kind of end-to-end meetings constantly nonstop. And I think this is the first time where we get to just sit and listen to what people are building and how they interact with everything, talk to the devs who are interested in building on top of Stargate and utilizing it, building on Layer Zero, just all of it. So I think that's by far the best part.
So next year, we're in for, I think it's going to be Istanbul in Turkey or maybe Nha Trang in Vietnam. So if anyone from the community wants to, or developers and so on wants to attend, we're going to be there 100%.
Wicked. Looking forward to seeing you all there. Cool. Yeah. So lots of great stuff with from DevCon, and yeah, moving into volume and whatnot here as well over first couple of weeks of or I guess since our last community call. Yeah, we've had like October has been a really powerful month as well, seeing a lot of transactions and even volume. Yes, second highest in transactions. We still have like what do we got here? Another like 11 days of the month left. 12 days, I guess. And we're almost like over three quarters of like what September was. And September was the highest month as well. So lots of transactions happening there, even volume wise. I think we're second or third for, October itself is already a second or third for monthly volume. Obviously we had some interesting stuff happen recently that's helped contribute to that. But I mean, that's, the protocol's there to be able to facilitate those kind of transactions. So that's pretty cool that we're seeing that kind of volume, and great stuff there. As far as integrations go, one of the notable ones here lately is Rango Exchange. So they are a multi-chain DEX bridge aggregator. So they're doing aggregating through a DEX and then aggregating through a bridge, and so that a lot of this stuff is routing through Stargate, just because it's thinking it's because with Sushi XSwap and be able to do it there. And just like the aggregation that we've got going on will work, or not aggregation, but the bridging that we can do, works well for them. So that was pretty cool to see, more and more people building on top, composing Stargate, kind of, really, really working to make this happen. And then everyone's always asking about the staking dashboard. That is still planning here for November. Just want to get that out to everybody. I know everyone's very, very excited about that. So that's that is coming and is on the roadmap. Anything on bribes? Where are we at with bribes? Anything to add there, Maki?
We had a proposal from BitOvenX to actually move some of the liquidity that was unutilized or non-optimized on UniV3 over at Optimism. So that's pretty good. They're going to be moving it, if the vote goes like positive. And, at the same time, we're going to be moving the POL that is on mainnet. Half of it will go to Balancer with an increase in fees. And basically, I do think it's maybe at the moment to think about the curve pool going into a Frax BP. So, Frax USDC to kind of make our bribes more efficient and, basically leverage their convex influence. So that's I guess, in the bucket list. Just, by the way, just a small side note, just to move over to Balancer, with kind of the stable coins that we have, we will be a core pool from the get-go, which means we will be accruing free bribes per se, and we will be making interest on top of it. So even though that's a very, I think it's 100K in interest that we will be able to kind of get from the get-go. It's, very interesting for pretty much no change on our side. So that is happening next. And bribe-wise, we haven't actually bribed anything for the past 2 cycles, I believe. We wanted to see kind of how sustainable our current stake was and so on. There's also been some changes with YVCRV. So Yearn has now deprecated it. We are now into the new YCRV era, which means we can choose between income, staking, or votes. We are going to do everything into votes for Stargate DAO. So that means we won't be impacted by anything else. What is interesting with this new design is there's actually now exit liquidity per se. So we are able to unstake and leave if we want to, which before was impossible. There was not enough liquidity, and there were some issues. It was kind of I wouldn't say a trap, but it's a one-way lane. Now we actually have optionality. We can leave if we are thinking, for example, of locking ourselves the CRV. That could be an option. But at the moment, I think keeping it autopilot, just kind of with a minimal kind of influence. Just for reference, without any bribes, we're at now 2% fixed. in CRV, meaning we are earning 2% on the current POL without any other bribes, which is a very interesting income when we think about like this being into the 8 digits.
Crazy. Well, cool. No, thank you for the update on that. Yeah, lots of always stuff moving in that ecosystem. And, you know, we're talking about the Beethoven proposal. We did have, I thought Solar Curve was in here. Just trying to find him. Solar Curve, if you're in here, I would love to have you come up and chat about that. I'm not finding in the audience right now, but see if you are, put up your hand. We'll get you.
These calls are getting popular, Tangle. Not even able to find folks now. What? How much people right now?
450.
450. Wow. Is this a record?
This is this might be.
Actually, I think so. Yeah.
I think so here. Anyway, Solar Curve just messaged me here. Where are you?
Anyways, I can just maybe take
yeah, maybe
in the mean.
Yeah, if you can just kind of speak on that some more.
What is interesting per se is I was talking with the sushi team not long ago, and basically like they have enabled bento box strategies for Stargate, so we might be able to see very soon a WBTC pool being kind of launched if we're able to push it via governance, mainly because that would be free liquidity kind of just standing on all these networks.
Okay,
that's pretty interesting.
Cool. All right. Well, we got Solar Curve up here now. Yeah, thanks for coming on today, Solar Curve.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for putting up that proposal. And maybe just to let the community know here who you are, what you're involved in, and then we can dive into that proposal a little bit.
Sure. So, hello from Balancer. I'm a longtime contributor at the Balancer DAO for the last 2.5 years or so, and I also advise Beethoven X / work very closely with them on a day-to-day basis. So I had the initial idea to bring Beethoven X to Optimism in a partnership with Balancer. So that's how we have access to VBAL voting on Optimism, but the UI is run by Beethoven X. And we have all these really interesting boosted pools, and that's part of what you guys would take advantage of with this proposal.
Yeah, so these boosted pools, kind of walk us through that. I know it's a little bit abstract at times for people here, but like, just like how the pairs with like, you know, you've got BB, RFA, USDC. What is that referring to, or how does that actually kind of work in there? Because like the, it's how it's like Beats, Reaper, Aave, boosted. It gets a little bit long, but maybe just break that all down so people understand what's actually happening.
Yeah, we've just due to some technical reasons, but it all works out for the best. We do have a bit of a complicated stack we're taking advantage of here. So the idea behind boosted pools is, most of the liquidity in a pool is not going to be used for trading in most circumstances. So it's just sitting there earning nothing. Mm-hmm. We could take most of that, deposit somewhere to earn a yield. Now, Aave on Optimism is printing a bunch of OP rewards. If we just directly deposit into Aave, like collecting those rewards and then redistributing them presents a bit of a problem. So we take advantage of Reaper, which is a Yearn V1 fork run by the Byte Masons, like really smart guys from Bantam. It's a non-upgradable single strategy vault. So it just farms Aave on the lending side. It doesn't leverage up or anything. Mm-hmm. It just deposits on Aave, takes the OP, sells it for more of the position on Aave. So like if for the 3 pool, that's what we're doing. We're just taking each DAI, USDC, USDT, putting them in a Reaper vault that's just farming on Aave, farming away.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So for relatively straightforward, kind of, sounds like it's relatively safe here as well. Like these contracts are all been, battle tested and whatnot. So, and especially when you're dealing with like something like Aave too, you're, you kind of have that confidence in that protocol as well. So, even with all of the letters in front, it's keeps things relatively, it's kind of straightforward here with that. So, so with like, I guess there's like the 50% of that POL on Optimism. We would just need to like split that into a vault, and off we go. Or what other steps is necessary here, and kind of like what's required on on Stargate end?
Yeah, so basically, we made your pool with just STG slash boosted USDC. So all you'll need to do is just deposit 50/50 STG and USDC, and then we'll automatically deposit most of that USDC into the Reaper vault to farm Aave for you. So that should give you probably like 0.75 to 1% of additional yield. And the cool thing is that's after our fee, which is 50% on the yield. But the cool thing is the fee we're taking not only on swaps but on that yield is collected by us every month, and then under our grant from Optimism, we pair that 1-to-1 with OP tokens, and then we will re-emit that back onto the pool, either via bribes for V-ball votes if you guys prefer to farm balancer, or we can emit Optimism tokens directly, which is what we're doing now for most of our pools, just because the ROI is a little bit better. But it really depends on what Optimism wants, or I mean, what Stargate wants, rather. If you want OP, we give you that. You want BAL, we'll bribe for you. But that's the program we're running to try to get people to bring liquidity. We'll return the fees as additional incentives, like taking a page out of Solidly, if you're familiar with that.
Yeah. Okay, so we end up getting, so even the fees that we are like that the protocol is giving to you guys, it's just kind of coming back then as, you know, OP, or whether we go move it into like the bribing ecosystem. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do all that for you. You know, it's better than your liquidity is just sitting on UniV3, and you are earning fees there, but they're not really compounding for you, and it's not the most optimal way. This way, you know, you're putting a lot of your USDC to work in Aave, and that earns you 1% passively. You don't have to do anything, and we also get 1%. So it's more like it's 2% for real, but we're taking half of it and then returning it to you paired, you know, doubled from OP. So it's a pretty great deal, as long as our grant lasts, which it'll last for quite a while.
Yeah, cool. No, that's very it's very interesting, and like the capital efficiency that you guys are kind of coming up with here seems, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So if anybody's got questions on that, please raise your hand or throw it into the AMA, or sorry, the voice text questions. And again, this is up on Commonwealth, and so please, anybody has questions, follow up with that. But this seems like a pretty ideal situation. And I mean, try it out on Optimism and see where it can go from there.
It's also a great deal on Ethereum as well. Like, you'll pair Stargate against BBA USD, which is the 3 pool. So you will need to diversify your stables a bit for that one. But we do the exact same thing there. We'll return not only the swap fees we're earning, but the yield fee we're earning on your pool as bribes. And then you'll be able to deposit in Aura. You'll farm BAL and Aura just for parking your money there. Like, you don't have to put up any money. We'll take care of the bribes for you. So it's pretty cool, because you guys bring the TVL. That's the missing part. Like, we need to start the pool somehow. So you either need to bribe to start it, or you bring a fat stack of money and just park it there. You guys have a fat stack of money. So.
Yeah, well, it's cool that it's something that could happen on mainnet as well, rather than just Optimism. So okay, that's something else we could look at too. Then, put that into another proposal. Like, that's kind of what Maki was alluding to earlier, and we can kind of go from there. But
thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming on, Solar Curve, and just keep an eye out on the forum, on Commonwealth there. If anybody's got any further questions on this. We'll ping you or keep in touch if folks have further questions. So,
awesome.
Yeah, wicked. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's an interesting one, especially with just like the capital efficiency, and more fees for the protocol, and keep growing that protocol and liquidity. So that's I think what we have for proposals for now to go over. The next stuff here, I do want to, and I just kind of want to announce this here, that we are going to be doing a campaign with Layer 3. We've done there was like a test pilot quest that we had done. It was like only 2,000 people were eligible to participate in it, and it like was done in like a day. I think it was super fast. So really, really liked what they were offering and what they were doing. And yeah, just going to engage with them to do a couple quests per month, be able to like, have these quests that are going to take people through the Stargate ecosystem and kind of build out like some interesting funnels and some ideas around how to, how to like utilize the Stargate ecosystem. And then as, even if we have like further integrations and other things happening there too, try and like, showcase those as well. So I think it's going to be a really cool thing to get the community engaged, get, showcase integrations, all that kind of stuff. So pretty excited about that. Stay tuned for announcements around it, but just wanted to let everybody know that's here today that that's something that's coming. And yeah, we did see a lot of activity around the Galaxy stuff, and hopefully seeing like more of a focused, towards our community with Layer 3 and actually getting people excited about what's happening here with Stargate. So that's kind of what's up there. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else here we really want to cover. Any questions from the audience here? If not, no, that's, we can probably wrap up there, I think. Anything further, Primo or Maki, to add to this?
I think from my end, I think the big thing is, I don't know if anybody else saw, but Aptos launched yesterday, losing track of many sleepless nights in a row here. But Aptos just launched, Layer Zero launched on top of Aptos, which means Stargate is able to launch now. I think it's something, I think there's a couple things to consider, but I think it's something Stargate should strongly consider doing into some of these new ecosystems. I think there is this interesting scenario where right now, when you have a new ecosystem, there's only wrapped assets that exist. So all the bridges are wrapped asset bridges. And so there's like kind of two ways that Stargate can go there. It can say, we're not going to touch this ecosystem until there are native assets, obviously within the core protocol. That has sort of been one of the strongest points, is that you have this instant guaranteed finality, you have the native assets, like a much safer, much better experience overall. But that is strictly impossible on these new ecosystems. And so the question is, like, what does that look like? Should Stargate get into the wrapped asset game, basically become bridge as a service, allow it to reach out to sort of all of these other long tail chains and hit kind of the bigger chains fast-ish? I think there's reasonably compelling arguments to be made for that. I think we'd have to be clear in the UI and segregated. Does it wait until native assets and then like take over from the old ones and just sort of like dominate those ecosystems like it has been largely doing to like EVM-based liquidity? Possibly. But I think there have been a lot of internal discussions. I think this is one of the most interesting things over the next, let's say, 2 months or so that Stargate can really decide. I think there are a couple of things that are really interesting from the Stargate side. If it does decide to go that route, I think there are really cool ways to increase the efficiency of liquidity that Stargate attracts at just an incredible proportion. So I think there's like a lot of cool stuff going on right now. I think one of the biggest things though is just that, like, as a protocol, it's important to figure out, early on, native assets only got us where we are. I think it is by far the safest way to bridge and the best way to bridge. I think there's like absolutely no doubt about that. They're just Pareto superior to any form of wrapped asset. But you do have early days of ecosystems, and you do have OFTs, and you have all these other things that are like starting to pop up. And the question is, how did Stargate leverage that to like stay ahead? And so I think there is a bunch of really cool things there. I think we'll try to work on something to propose on the governance side soon, but I think it's important that like the community itself also figures out kind of how it reasons about these things, and what might that look like? What is opportunity space? I know there's a ton of people who have been super passionate about on the analytics side and on just sort of everything, building dashboards and doing all of this. I think this is one of the most interesting and compelling things someone in the community can really spend time on is what the opportunity space is, and sort of convince everybody to go in one direction or another. So I think I have my own personal thoughts. I think I'll write them up into something kind of longer form. But I do think, especially now, and I mean, we'll see how the ecosystem develops, but as Aptos is evolving, and if it ends up taking off, I think there's potentially really huge opportunity space there. So yeah.
Maybe we should open up a blog, not a blog post, sorry, a forum post about this and kind of get the community going in there. I just don't like to argue personally, like on Discord. I think sometimes you can lose it, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's just not following, it's not linear or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe like we can kickstart a conversation about this on the forum. That would be very nice.
Yeah, that would be great. And then, I guess the key takeaway here is looking at whether that's wrapped assets or not. And just going to some of the questions here, like Ray J's got, will the current Aptos bridge remain wrapped assets or offer Stargate's native assets once available?
Yeah, just to be clear, 100%. I think there are two ways that can go. 100% when native assets are available, it will migrate to native assets. So it will hand over those sort of bridging component to Stargate. In the world where Stargate wants to get into wrapped assets, it would basically hand over most likely kind of the bridge and those contracts over to Stargate as well. So I think that the end goal is one way or another that Stargate is that center of bridging. It's just about how it does that and what that looks like, and everything from there on out. So yeah, 100% will go over to Stargate if there's native assets, no doubt.
Yeah, and then that could, will again apply with other networks and whatnot that come online here. Some people asking about Solana and whatnot. And I think the same would apply there. I think you could agree there.
Yeah, I mean, Solana already has native assets, right? And that's one of the big things with every existing bridge in a Solana right now. Literally all of them, even in the USDC, they're like Circle issued USDC. All of the bridges deal in wrapped assets, right? So that's like a clear opportunity space on the Stargate side of things. But then you have other ecosystems, even in the EVM space, Moonbeam, etc., that we're using, like Nomad wrapped assets, etc., that just have no native assets there. So I think there are both ends of the spectrum there, but a lot of opportunity space for sure.
Mm-hmm. Also Ray J asking about plans for ZK Sync. Not sure how easy it is to port over EVM contracts and whether that's in the works. Whether wrapped assets would still apply.
Yep, current plan is definitely to be on ZK Sync as early as possible. Right now, my understanding is that there will only be wrapped assets day one on ZK Sync. I believe that is still the case, but I will sync up with them and try to figure out what that looks like. So yeah, ZK Sync is, I think there are a lot of eyes on it for sure.
Wicked. All right. Yeah, I guess Starknet, I'm sure, same kind of stuff with Starknet. So, see how things develop I'm not really sure where Starknet's at right now. Obviously ZK Sync, a little more people chatting about it, a little more chatter around it, but see where that turns into. But if any further questions or comments, concerns here, if not, we can kind of wrap it up here for this week. But anyways, we will look at getting a forum post up on Commonwealth for kind of discussions around wrapped assets and everything here we were just discussing. That way we can keep the conversation kind of alive and growing there rather than just getting sporadically through Discord. So that'll be a great place to keep track of all of that stuff. And yeah, so please make your way over to Commonwealth. If you haven't already joined Commonwealth, please do that. And yeah, also if you are interested in a POAP, you will need to join Guild if you haven't already. So please do that into the future. And yeah, this is obviously live streaming over to YouTube. So thanks to everybody that's been over there listening in, and also on Twitter Spaces. So we do have, I see there's one person over here requesting. I don't know if they were, let's see, I'll just speaker. I'm not sure if it's just sometimes they're just can be a fat finger, but want to give people the opportunity here. MG Loeb, have you got something for us? MG Loeb, anything? All right, guess not. That's all right. But yeah, this will be live streamed on YouTube, and you'll be able to check it out afterwards. It should be available right away. And yeah, of course, we'll see everyone in a couple weeks from now. And yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate you coming out today. And just stick around here for a little while afterwards if you want a POAP. We'll just have to keep things going here. But thanks, everyone. Ciao, ciao.